Hey guys, welcome back to Ollie's Zoo. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be looking at my favourite snake myths of all time and some of the rumours that have been made up about snakes over the years, and I'm going to address them and sort of explain really why they're a bit far-fetched. Okay, so number one on my all-time favourite snake myths is it usually starts with somebody knows somebody who has a friend, who has a friend, who knows somebody else, who owned a Burmese python that crawled into bed with her one night, and this strange behaviour carried on for several weeks, and until this person took their Burmese python to the vets, or took the query I should say to the vets, to which the vet told them that the Burmese python was actually measuring itself up against the person to see if it could eat them. And that dumb snake, get out of here. Now, according to this myth, snakes allegedly measure themselves up against their prey. I have a hard time believing this, just purely based on the fact that snakes are ambush predators by nature. They lie in wait, waiting for the perfect moment to strike their prey. They bite first, ask questions later. They take a chance sometimes on whether they can eat something or not. If snakes measured themselves up against their prey, they would never get anything done. So for this reason, I'm debunking this snake myth. Okay, so the next myth that we're going to talk about is a misconception about snakes that is as old as time itself. And that's that snakes dislocate their jaws when they're about to swallow their food. Now, it was believed for a long time that this is how snakes managed to open their jaws so wide in order to swallow their prey, when in actual fact an anatomist took a closer look at a snake's mouth area and discovered that around sort of at this point here where your jaw is on a snake, there's some very fine ligaments that are made of like sort of cartilage, and they're very elasticated, which allows the mouth to stretch wide, and this is how snakes are able to swallow their food ultimately. So for this reason alone, I'm debunking this snake myth. The next snake myth that I'm going to talk about is one that really gets on my gears, and that's, is it venomous or is it poisonous? Now, you'll hear the term poisonous snake keyed quite often in films and programs, sometimes even in books. Now, there's people who sit on the fence on this side of the debate. I tend to swing more to snakes are venomous rather than poisonous. Poison is a gas or a liquid that's secreted. Venom, however, is something very much different. Venom is a type of protein that's made up of polypeptides, and snakes produce venom through glands at the top of their jaws, and of course they inject it into their prey like hypodermic needles, as I've explained on previous videos. And venom, of course, nobody's really sure where it came from. You know, sort of snake experts, snake scientists, paleontologists, that type of thing, they're not 100% sure where venom really came from, but of course it is millions and millions of years old, and it most likely evolved to make catching prey easier for snakes, because of course a cobra or a rattlesnake or a viper or something like that will bite the prey item, inject it with the venom, and then ultimately the venom is what kills that animal, making it easier for the snake to finish it off and swallow it, of course eat its food. So without annoying too many people, I would say that snakes are venomous, not poisonous. So that's that snake myth debunked. Now, the last snake myth that I want to talk about today is another one that really sort of is quite close to my heart, you know, from a welfare perspective anyway, and that's that you really shouldn't feed your snakes live food like mice or rats that are alive. From a welfare perspective, I've talked about this with, you know, many people really new to keeping snakes, or just generally asking about snakes. You know, should they eat live food or should they eat frozen food? And as I say, from a welfare perspective, when you think about it, when you put a rat or a mouse in there with the snake, it knows that it's going to die, and it will back itself into a corner and fight for its life. Now, I have quite a lot of experience with rodents, mice and rats, hamsters, that type of thing, and I can tell you for a fact it hurts when they bite. And that's just a little bite, a little nip. When they're fighting for their life, there have been, cases of snakes becoming really injured from being put in there with a live prey item. And there have been some really tragic cases of snakes actually being killed by their prey item. So, of course, from a welfare perspective, you've already undermined the welfare of the prey item, and you've, of course, undermined the welfare of your snake. I saw one on a website the other week, a story about somebody who'd put a rat in with a snake, a royal python actually, and of course the snake had done nothing, and neither did the rat. And they both curled up together, and everything looked all hunky and dory, and it was a nice little cute story. And of course, the follow-up story 3 days later came that this person had come home from work and found that all the scales had been ripped off of the royal python by the rat. Do you know what I mean? So it's a shame, really. And it's easily preventable. To start them off at a young age on the frozen food rather than the live food. Because of course, once a snake has tasted hot blood, that's all it's going to become used to. I can understand, obviously, in the wild, the argument is that all in the wild they'd have to catch live food themselves. I understand that totally, but in captivity, as an animal keeper, pet owner, whatever you want to call yourself, you're obliged to accommodate that animal's welfare to the best of your ability. And in my book, putting in a live prey item with them is poor welfare. So it's more of an opinion than a myth, but just for that reason alone, I'm going to debunk this snake myth that they shouldn't eat live. Alright guys, I think we'll wrap it up there today with the snake myths. There will be some more myths that I've inevitably missed that I may cover again in another video, but they're just my favourite snake myths really that either amuse me or I feel really passionate about. I apologise for there being no snakes today in this actual video. I usually have at least an animal out with me, but all the pythons and the hognose snakes, they're actually sleeping off their food from what I fed them the other day, so you just had to make do with this stupid character, this legitimately real snake. So from me and Sally the snake, see you later.